You're watching Cape Media News, brought to you by Cape Media Center.
Tonight on Cape Media News, the kids are going back to school, but no cell phones.
Plus, nonprofit raises money for Inclusive Coffee Shop.
And a look back at this week in sports.
These stories and more are coming up next on Cape Media News.
Good evening and welcome to Cape Media News, your source for hyperlocal news that matters. I'm Lauren Williamson.
And I'm Maxie Davidson.
As students across the Cape get ready to settle back into their routines, there's one item that's becoming increasingly restricted. It is the cell phone in classrooms. In a world where we're more connected than ever, some schools are hitting the pause button on screen time during lessons. Sandwich schools recently implemented a cell phone ban, and a Barnstable school committee member says it's time for them to follow Sandwich's lead. DY Superintendent Mark Smith shared that their updated school cell phone policy implemented last school year came about due to two main concerns. First, the growing issue of student cell phone usage during school hours caused significant disruptions. Quote, "We noticed that students were increasingly distracted by their phones during instructional time. This wasn't just about texting or social media. Students were using their phones to coordinate unsanctioned gatherings in hallways or other parts of the school, undermining the educational environment. The impact of these distractions was too great to ignore, leading the district to reconsider its cell phone policies." A grant opportunity provided by the Department of Elementary and Secondary Education also encouraged policy changes. Quote, "This grant allowed us to put in place the necessary programming and to purchase the materials needed to effectively enforce the new cell phone policy," Smith explained. For instance, under the updated policy, Dennis Yarmouth High School now requires all students to secure their cell phones in a designated safe spot within the classroom during class time. This helps students focus fully on their lessons, engage more actively in discussions, and develop critical thinking skills without interruptions. When asked about the community's response, Smith was pleased to report that it had been predominantly positive. Quote, "We made sure to communicate proactively with both students and their families," he said. The district was transparent about the reasons for the changes and provided clear instructions on how families can reach their children in cases of emergency without relying on the students having their phones. Although it's still early in the school year, initial feedback has been promising. Quote, "We've already seen a decrease in phone-related disciplinary issues and a drop in cyberbullying incidences within the school," said Smith. As schools across the Cape continue to navigate the balance between technology and education, the trend toward restricting cell phone use in the classroom is gaining momentum. With early signs of success at DY, other districts may follow suit.
As of last week, debris from Vineyard wind turbines was still washing up on Cape beaches. The public is instructed not to touch any potential turbine debris. Only Vineyard Wind employees and contractors should handle waste, so do not put any debris in your home garbage or local transfer stations. If you spot potential debris, please call the reporting hotline at 781-831-1134 or make a report online at vineyardwind1.ethicspoint.com.
Tomorrow is International Overdose Awareness Day. A candlelight beach memorial will be held at Smugglers Beach at 5 p.m. to honor and remember those lost to substance abuse. This year's theme is Together We Can, emphasizing the power of communities standing together. If there's someone you'd like to honor at this event, participants are encouraged to bring a photo. Along with the candlelight memorial, speakers will discuss their personal experiences. Community organizations can be present with their resources, and tributes will be made to loved ones.
Chatham residents, have you submitted your information for the water service line inventory? The Water Division is required by the Environmental Protection Agency and Department of Environmental Protection to develop an inventory of water service lines. This is to create removal plans for any lines that contain lead. For information on locating your water service and determining service line material, visit chatham-ma.gov/303 or call the Water Division at 508-945-5155.
The U.S. Army Corps of Engineers Hopper Dredge has arrived this week and will soon begin maintenance dredging of Stage Harbor in Chatham. Dredging will be done daily for about 2 weeks in 24-hour shifts. Existing water depths and widths will be restricted in Stage Harbor's entrance channel, and mariners are advised to be extra cautious. For questions, you can contact the Chatham Harbor Master, Jason Holm, at 508-945-5185.
Earlier this week, severe weather conditions battered the Cape. Barnstable County Regional Comm Center handled a staggering 2 days' worth of calls in just 3 hours. Major incidents included a fatal car crash on Route 6 in Harwich requiring 6 ambulances, flooded roadways, 2 structure fires from lightning strikes, and several downed trees. The Sheriff's Office congratulated the communications staff for their exceptional work handling the influx of service needs.
The Massachusetts Department of Transportation announced that Route 6A from Scargo Hill Road to Sessuit Neck Road will be closed beginning on Wednesday, September 4th. The closure will allow MassDOT to replace 2 culverts around 6A at Sessuit Creek, and construction is expected to continue until April. Detours will be in place and police details will be present as needed.
Starting on September 12th, Thursdays in September at the Harwich Council on Aging are dedicated to planning for retirement. This series is geared towards those who are looking forward to taking that step or who have recently transitioned out of the workforce. While the first session will focus on retirement planning strategies, the second and third sessions will be about planning for Medicare and understanding Social Security benefits. To register, call the Harwich Council on Aging at 508-430-7550. Coming up after the break, brewing inclusion, more than just coffee. Stay tuned.
Special Friends Cafe, a nonprofit organization, is looking to open a coffee shop to provide employment opportunities for adults with intellectual, developmental, and physical disabilities. Last weekend, the group held a family fun day at Brooks Park, and we stopped by to see what it's like to build a more inclusive community, one cup of coffee at a time.
Special Friends Cafe is an idea that Pauline and I had of opening up a cafe that'll be run solely by individuals 22 and older that have some sort of intellectual disability, physical disability, neurological disability, with the assistance of job coaches and volunteers. And we will have it fully staffed and prepared by the students when they graduate high school. So in Harwich Port, we have a beautiful Christmas stroll every year in December, and it's just beautifully lit. We have the Christmas tree lit up, Santa comes, and it's just a lot of events for the kids, and we'll be there. So today we are celebrating the eventual opening of Special Friends Cafe. We're having our Family Fun Day event, so everybody's welcome. We're here 11 to 2 to raise awareness about our cafe and to accept donations so we can get this off the ground.
We got a lot of yard games, we got some sensory, we got a dunk tank in our merchandise.
We also have Touch a Truck, we have a fire engine, we have a construction truck, we have a police ATV, and we have an ice cream truck. Cloud9 is here, they donated their time. And we have DJ Jonathan Thompson here as well. So what we need right now, since we are nonprofit, we are pretty much relying on the community to help us out with this. So we are at $16,000 right now just from very generous donors from all over the Cape and other states as well. But we really need to get up to about $50,000 or $75,000 to really get this off the ground. So that's what our efforts are for today, to find some donors that would like to give a generous donation. $5, $5,000, it doesn't matter, every penny helps. So we have our website, www.specialfriendscafe.com, and on there is the donation page, and there's also our email, so they can email us directly.
We have lots of people show up to support us, and especially families who have little ones, big ones with disabilities. We're here to welcome them with open arms and tell them about everything about Special Friends Cafe.
Special Friends Cafe took to Facebook after the event to thank the community for coming out and to share that they raised $6,000.
South Yarmouth Library is teaming up with the Barnstable County Public Health Division to provide free health screenings. On Wednesday the 4th from 3 to 5 p.m., visit with a public health nurse for minimally invasive cardio checks, blood pressure and bone density readings, giveaways, and more. Everyone is welcome and pre-registration is not required.
Is your child interested in the music and the arts? Cape Symphony will hold its first annual Family Arts Festival on Saturday, September 7th. From 9 a.m. to 12 p.m., explore music class demos, art activities, dance performances, theater games, and an instrument petting zoo where kids can check out instruments up close and personal. The following Sunday, Cape Symphony Youth Orchestra faculty will hold an auditions workshop to give students all the tools they need to feel confident in auditions. For more information, you can head to capesymphony.org.
Love Live Local is calling for community volunteers for the second summer cycle. This charity ride spans 11 towns and benefits 19 local nonprofits, including Love Live Local. Volunteer shifts are available throughout the day on September 15th and in any of the 11 towns. To learn how you can volunteer, visit bikereg.com/second-summer-cycle.
Are you looking for an opportunity to give back? Well, join in the first annual Waves of Hope 5K next Sunday, September 8th. The Waves of Hope mission is to raise awareness and funding to benefit Dana-Farber Cancer Institute and the Jimmy Fund. The race starts at 10 a.m. at West Dennis Beach. All age groups and abilities are encouraged to participate and come. Post-race awards, live entertainment, and a silent auction will be held at Chapin's Fish and Chips. Register online at wavesofhope5k.org or in person on the day of the event.
Happy Back to School! Registration is now open for Chatham's Positive After School Recreation for Kids program. Also known as PARK, this program is for grades 3 through 7 and includes homework help, arts and crafts, games, and snacks. Students can participate in this program daily as needed, starting when school gets out until 5:30. For more information and pricing, head to chathamma.myrec.com.
Calling all history buffs. On September 8th from 1 to 4 p.m., head to the Common in Yarmouthport for free admission to 6 historic properties in the area. You get to visit Captain Bang's Hallett House, the Edward Gorey House, the Yarmouthport Library, Chapter House Inn, and more. To kick off the event, the Historical Commissions is rededicating the 1928 Memorial Arch and Town Water Pump in celebration of its restoration and 96th anniversary. And lastly this evening, we're going to send it to Ryan Downs with a recap of this week in sports.
Welcome back to the Cape Media News Sports segment. I'm your host and local sports guy, Ryan Downs. Barnstable started school this week and the rest start next week, which means fall sports season is finally here. So let's get right into this week's recap. DY Field Hockey took on Sandwich this past Tuesday in a preseason scrimmage. Funny enough, last year in the state tournament, Watertown beat both teams on their way to the title. DY in the quarterfinals and Sandwich in the semis. Sandwich dominated possession of the ball for the majority of the match and took an early 1-0 lead in the first 5 minutes of the game. In the second quarter, they were able to convert off a corner opportunity and extend their lead to 2-0. And that was the last goal scored of the match. DY struggled to receive the ball and never got a shot on net throughout the match, which is unlike them. They've made the playoffs every year since 2006, and coming off a 7-7-4 season, they aim to be better this year. Starting with the hire of a new head coach who knows how to win. Leslie LaFrance comes from Keene University in New Jersey as the winningest coach in the school's history. She coached from 2009 to 2023, and in her tenure there, she had a record of 201-77, with 4 NCAA playoff appearances and 7 Coach of the Year awards from various organizations. She told the Cape Cod Times, quote, I am hoping to have a positive impact on the program and to share my passion for the sport. Hopefully, this leads to fun and competitiveness. Last year was a very successful year for fall sports on the Cape. There were a lot of teams that made deep runs, so let's take a look at some of those teams to look forward to this fall. Staying with DY for now, we also have their volleyball team as one of our teams to watch this season. They have been to the state finals 2 out of the last 3 years now and fell in the Sweet 16 last year to Old Rochester after forcing a 5th set. They are led by setter Vivian Castano, who finished her junior season being named a Cape and Islands League All-Star for a 3rd time. She currently has 2,034 assists, which is only 89 away from the school record. And 2-time Cape and Islands League All-Star rising senior middle hitter Mariah Eaton. Eaton is a 3-year starter and plays the game above the net. She has 364 career kills and 175 blocks. Their season starts with a doubleheader on Sunday versus Frontier and Nauset. And DY's football team is one that is very interesting to us this year particularly. We also talked about them last week, so we'll be brief this time. Last season they went 6-2 and had a first-round exit to Salem, who was the runner-up in their division. This year, they return almost every starter on both sides of the ball, including their state-leading passer Jaden Barber and his #1 target Peyton Kellett. I hate to put this kind of pressure on them, but it's looking like this could be their year. Their first game of the year is next Friday, home versus Mashpee. Moving on to Barnstable, we have 2 teams in our top watch list as well. First up, we have their volleyball team too. They are a perennial powerhouse in one of the most successful programs in all of the state, with 18 titles. However, they have not won it all since 2016. They came close last year but lost in the 5th set of the finals to Newton North. They lost many starters this offseason, but look to get back to their title-winning ways. We also have their football team on our watch list. We talked about them last week, so we'll keep it brief again. They're coming off a 10-2 season, where they lost to the eventual champs in the semifinals. They have a lot of young talent and bonded all offseason through intense workouts. Their first game of the season is next Friday at Bridgewater Raynham. Monomoy also has 2 teams on this list. Both teams made it to the state finals last year. Starting with their field hockey team. In recent years, they have been dominant. They had runs to the semifinals in 2021 and 2022. Last year, they had a record of 17-2-3 and outscored opponents 19-1 en route to their school's first finals appearance, but fell to Uxbridge 4-0. And we can't forget about the boys' soccer team. Last season, they had a 16-4-3 record. Ranked as the 9th seed entering the playoffs, they took down the number 8, 5, and 1 seed to make it to the finals. They returned league MVP senior Ryan Laremy and league all-stars senior Seamus St. Pierre and sophomore Tate Laremy. According to their head coach, Keith Clark, their goal is to win the Mariner division, something they have yet to do. And wrapping it up, we have both Nauset soccer teams. These 2 programs used to be sure things for making deep playoff runs, but have had a hard time replicating that success in recent years. The girls' team has won the Cape and Island Atlantic Division the past 3 years in a row. They were a penalty kick away from advancing to the Sweet 16 last postseason, and have lost their 4-year starter and 2-time league MVP, but have a promising rising junior in Caroline Bothfeld, who missed significant time last season to injury. And the boys' team looks very interesting this season. Last year, they were upset at home in the first round of the playoffs. It was only their 2nd loss all season, but just like Monomoy's team, they returned 3 league all-stars and hope to make another run in the state tournament. And that's it for this week's sports update. Back to you, Lauren and Maxie.
Thanks, Ryan. Well, September is almost here, Maxie, and that means the start of school and the start of fall.
Yep. And for West Yarmouth Library, September is Library Card Sign-Up Month. They're celebrating it tomorrow afternoon with free ice cream from Cape Cod Creamery.
You heard it here first, folks, so skip the beach tomorrow and head to the library. And thanks for joining us this evening. If you have a story that you would like to see covered, send us an email at newstip@capemedia.org.
Tune in every week for more hyperlocal news that matters on Channel 26, Apple TV, Roku, and Fire TV.
Be sure to follow us on all of our social media, including Facebook, YouTube, and TikTok. For Cape Media News, I'm Lauren Williamson.
And I'm Maxie Davidson.